Hello, welcome to Somerset News Network. My second channel. As this video was too long, I've had to split it. If you go into part one, you'll see that my MP did reply to me. He sorted my problem out. It's not finished yet, but it's getting there. But this is part two of the backstory. Now, I've caught him shooting in the woods where he was shooting illegally, and now I got the police turn up at my door. Let's follow the story. Can we have a copy of the video? I said, yeah, no problem. So I gave him a copy of the video. Then I got a phone call. Local beat officer, beat manager they call him now. Ian, I have to interview you. I thought about the illegal shooting and the video. Anyway, the copper comes round and we're having a chat. And he said, we're looking at arresting you for conspiracy to harass. For harassment. Conspiracy? Who with? It was only me and my mate that shoots that threw him off the ground because he was shooting illegally. I said, look, there's the guy's phone number that owns the wood. Phone him and check it out. Anyway, a couple of weeks went by and nothing happened and I didn't think anything of it. Then the constable rings up and says, we'd like to interview you again. I said, yeah, come on down. So the constable turns up with the sergeant now, and I'm thinking, this is getting a bit serious. So I said, what's the problem? They said, well, we're looking at arresting you for harassment. And I said, well, the guy was shooting illegally. I was asked to remove him. I filmed it. I gave you the video. Yes, we can't identify where it is. I said, yes, you can, because I told you where it was. Anyway, just then, the guy that I go shooting with, my mate, came in for a cup of tea. I said, oh, come on in, mate. You know, do you want a cup of tea as well? Because I was going to make the coppers a cup of tea, being friendly. No, he said, that's all right. I just come to say hello. Anyway, we're in the kitchen. And I said, well, my mate was there when I filmed him. So my mate told the same story, that we were asked to get rid of him. We walked down through the woods and we got rid of him. The sergeant took the constable out into the garden. The constable never came back in, but the sergeant came back in and said, don't worry, Ian, I will sort it out. That was it. Never heard any more. Anyway, a couple of months later, you see, the shooting community is small. There's not a lot of us. And we all sort of know each other. And I get a guy in, wants his gun repaired. So anyway, I repair his gun, ring him up, say, oh, your gun's there. And he comes back in. I said, you know, there you are, no problems. Any problems, bring it back. He said, did you what happened to that bloke who was shooting up in the wood? I said, no. He said, well, I was with him that day when we got thrown off. I said, well, you didn't have permission to be there, did you? He said, I didn't know that. The guy that organised the shoot charged him money for it, I'm told, says this guy. So he said, I didn't know it was either. He said, he told us we had permission to shoot there. So that was the first story. I found one of the other guys that were shooting there. Then a couple of weeks later, I had another guy who wanted his gun mended. He had met the constable that came in with the sergeant. He said, I almost lost my job over that. You see, what's happening is this guy, who's an absolute total, no, I'm not going to say it, not on YouTube, I'll lose my channel. He's an absolute beep, 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 beep. And he is friends with this copper. Now, what their relationship is, I don't know, but they're mates. He tells the copper a story. The copper believes him, and that's what triggered the investigation for harassment. That's what triggered the investigation the first time. But when the copper came in that time, he never had any numbers on. So I don't know his name, and I don't know what numbers he had. But the second copper, he had numbers on and told me his name. So it's a bonus. Anyway, 10 years on now, back in November, I put a one-line comment on a Facebook post on my local forum. It was only seen by about 25 people. And this lady said, "See what he's like, I'm going to the police." Well, I believe that lady's name was a sock puppet of the guy that was illegally shooting. Because when I tried to look her up and look at her profile, I couldn't see it. Didn't exist on Facebook. And what I suspect is that I blocked him 10 years ago. And I suspect it's the same PI address, because I've only ever blocked one guy, and it's him. So I suspect that lady's name was one of his sock puppets. And I think he's got a number of them. So now he gets his other mate, who's a copper, to come and interview me for malicious communications. Now this is really serious. So I'm asked to go to the police station. I go to the police station. I was not cautioned. I was not arrested. We want to know what your thinking is. And I said the comment I made was true, factual. Well, it caused offence. And I said I didn't want to cause offence. So all I had to do is say I didn't mean to cause any offence. So I said I didn't mean to cause any offence. And that was going to be the end of it. Anyway, after 4 months, the copper comes down here to our house. And he said, "You've got to sign this piece of paper." They were going to caution me over a Facebook one-line comment. But all I had to do was apologise that I didn't mean to cause any offence. Well, it couldn't have been offence because I didn't mean, it wasn't aimed at anybody. So it wasn't malicious communications. It wasn't aimed at a person. So there was no victim. But once again, I believe this copper is a mate of our mate, of the guy that dislikes me. So that's 3 police investigations for something I hadn't done. He's using his mates in the police force to harass me. I didn't realise the police were so corrupt until now. You normally trust a policeman. I remember when I was a kid, I must have been 5 or 6, something like that. We had Sergeant Genge, had a push bike. Lived in Nelsey and would push bike to the main police station in Clevedon. And we'd be waiting at the bus stop. Now my mum knew him. He was a great guy. He had a row of medals where he was in the war. brilliant bloke. But these new coppers, how can they be manipulated so easily by one guy telling lies and getting them to harass me for doing nothing but telling the truth and trying to prevent crime? Anyway, that's the backstory to all my woes. Now you know.